Hello everyone, today I will be reviewing the Avian Tarot by Brittany Lyn Batchelder. Hope I'm saying that right. So this deck does something very special. What it does is it assigns a bird to every card, alright? This is one of my favorite concepts for a tarot deck. I really like it when tarot decks can be educational essentially, and how they can assign various creatures to the symbolism in a tarot deck, because that way, whenever you read the guidebook, you get to learn something new. And I also think that the fact that there are people who would want to do that just goes to show how passionate they feel. Like, this person must love birds a lot, to just go through this effort to do the research and assign a bird to each of the cards and draw them all out. I love that concept, and I have some other tarot decks that do similar things, which I will review in the future. But this deck, I think of the ones I have, does it the best, evidenced by how big this guidebook is. This guidebook is so extensive, and I love it so much. And the guidebook is actually, it's the majority of the guidebook is the primary reason that I bought the deck in the first place, because whenever I get tarot decks, I consider, oh look, they're together, they match. Because whenever I get tarot decks, I either buy it based on the art of the cards or the guidebook. And the art of these cards are obviously very impressive, and we will get into that later. Personally though, as you can see, these cards are all black, white, and gold, and I'm more inclined towards colorful things, so it's often more difficult for me to appreciate art that's just done in black and white, which we will get into the artistry of the cards later because I do really appreciate it. So, but yes, the main reason I got this book, or I got this tarot deck, was because of this enormous and amazing guidebook. What this guidebook does is, it gives you the card, it gives you the upright interpretation and the reverse interpretation, and then it gives you the in-depth one, and it talks about, it goes in depth about how the bird depicted on the card connects to the meaning of the card. And it's so, just look at this is so amazing. And oftentimes, even though in my readings I don't work with this deck that often, oftentimes what I'll do is I will do a reading, and then I will turn to this guidebook. I'll work with a different deck and go to this guidebook just because it's so cool. But yes, let's get into the cards. So there are a few cards that really stood out to me. So first, I don't know nearly as much about birds as the creator of this tarot deck does, so it's more difficult for me to judge birds that were assigned really cleverly, but there are a few that stood out to me. So first of all, the crow being the magician was a really perfect choice. I believe the crow is also the magician in my Pacific Northwest deck, which I will review at a later date. But yes, very clever choice, given the craftiness of crows, for the crow to be the magician. The cassowary being the Five of Wands, also a very clever choice. Cassowaries, I'm guessing, are not as well known as crows, so this might not be as well known to my audience, but cassowaries are very, very aggressive birds and very strong birds, so it's absolutely so fitting for them to be the Five of Wands. And I think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure when I got this deck and I saw that the cassowary was assigned to the Five of Wands, I actually laughed because of how perfect it was. And then there's the peacock for the Nine of Pentacles, which, first of all, there are other tarot decks out there that actually put peacocks on the Nine of Pentacles card. I don't is it? I don't know if that's traditional symbolism or just something that was adopted over time. I don't recall. But either way, very fitting for the peacock to be the Nine of Pentacles, because peacocks are obviously like all about strutting their stuff, and Nine of Pentacles, like the card, is very much about personal success. So I think that's fitting. So as I already mentioned, because I'm more inclined towards colorful things, at first glance, I was not as drawn to the art on these cards as I am to art in my other decks, but that doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. It just means that it took me like longer to appreciate it. But I pulled out some cards that I think are pretty. So this one, the Six of Pentacles, the Umbrella Cockatoo. I really love the way the feathers are drawn here and how you can see them kind of like fan out. I also think that like the artistry of like the shading and the lighting is fairly impressive, especially when you're only working in like shades of black and white. And for the Five of Cups, the mallard, I really like the way the head is drawn and like the curve of the beak. I think that's really nice. And the Queen of Wands, the cockatiel. The cockatiel here, she just looks very friendly and very pretty, and I appreciate that. Oh, then there's the stork for the world. I just love the way this stork is positioned. I also think it's clever to have like these ellipses in the background to just symbolize the world. You can see on these other cards like the birds are in black and white, and then like whatever represents their suit is in gold. Like you see like the wand here and the cups here are in gold. You can see here the circles are in gold. This card I think is so pretty. The magpie for temperance. I really love like the artistry on the bird's beak. And I love this water and how the artist was able to indicate water without like having an abundance of color, and how you can see, like, I love how the water is indicated like solely from the shapes on the card. Like that takes skill, that takes talent. I think it was very effective. Because you can see like the subtle ripples here, and you can see like the way this gold flows, and I really enjoy that. And then we have the hummingbird for the lovers. I think this is just like a very cute card, and I like the heart here and the way the birds are together, and also the tail feathers here. I think this is really pretty. Yes, and there's also the back of the card, which, you know, it's not particularly notable though. It's not particularly notable, but I do like the gold, and as I've said before, it's cool when it's the same upright and upside down. Another thing, which is not that important, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. I think it's fun whenever tarot boxes are like this big, and the reason why that is because like there's this big box, and then like you open it, and there's this like smaller compartment for the deck, and like the guidebook goes like on top of it. But I enjoy tarot boxes like these because these boxes command attention. Like whenever you see a deck that's built like this, it's a deck that knows its worth. It's a deck that's saying like, yeah, you're gonna get this big box, and you're gonna have the small compartment for the actual deck, and you're gonna have more space to place the guidebook. It's such like a niche thing, but whenever I see tarot decks that are built like this, I'm like, okay, yeah, like take up the space. You deserve it. You've earned it. That's really random. But yes, overall, I love this deck so much, both like in practice and also just as a concept. Yes, the cards are so pretty, although like it does take more time to appreciate them than it would if they were in color, but you know, that's a stylistic decision. I support it. And I just really want to appreciate the creator of this deck for like loving birds this much and loving tarot this much, I think it's really cool when people are able to bring their interests together like that, and when they're able to educate people. And like this deck, if you like went through and like read the guidebook, it would teach you a lot about birds. And I think it's really important to appreciate the things about our world, both in the sense of just like appreciating things out there can make you a happier person, and also it can just give you a better awareness about the planet. And it's part of the reason why I really love decks that I really love this genre of like educational tarot deck. But yeah, that is all I have to say about this one. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.